You are now listening to About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills. Rom Wills is an entrepreneur and personal coach who has helped people reach their fullest potential personally and professionally. Take it away, Rom.
Welcome to the Sunday morning simulcast with Rom Wills. Go beyond the outer package, all right? And you know what? This podcast was inspired by a conversation I recently had, right? And, every now and then I talk with a very beautiful friend of mine, right? Chop it up with her, right? And it's ironic, in this particular conversation, I was calling on a business matter. And as she does, she very eloquently explained why she wasn't interested, right? And, I respect that. I was like, oh, okay, because, and just to let you know, it was about doing a webinar. But she's the type, she gives away information for free. So that's not really her thing, right? And I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I respect it. And as is always the case whenever we talk, she dropped some knowledge on me, right? She dropped some knowledge, very, very intellectual, very philosophical. Like, you always leave a conversation with her thinking deep. Now, here's the thing. If you were to see this person, you wouldn't even think she would be on that. And, without calling her name, I'll just say there's a lot of pictures of her on the internet, right? In fact, I got a couple friends like this, but I'm not going to call their name. If somebody, she bothers to hear this or something, she'll just be like, oh, yeah, Ron. Thanks for not calling my name. Because, one, that's not what she does anymore anyway. But, but like I said, it's deep. Like I said, very beautiful woman, very well known, if I were to call her name, right? Very well known. But you wouldn't think that. In fact, like I said, there's two women such like that in my life, and you wouldn't think that how deep they could get with you, right? I'm going to tell you what. Image is important. For better or worse, we make judgments, decisions, everything based on the image we see in front of us, right? And sometimes we're accurate, sometimes we're not. And I mean, it's something we're going to do. We're something, like this, like the saying that, women size up a man within the first few seconds of meeting. I mean, it does. And, it's something we all do. But something I've learned in life, sometimes you got to go beyond that, right? Sometimes you got to go beyond that. Now, the young lady I was talking with, you wouldn't, like I said, if in fact, she still got a somewhat public presence, somewhat public social media presence. And like I said, if you see the image that you see on social media and then you talk with it, it's like, huh? Because you automatically think, okay, someone who looks like this, or especially a woman, that's an unfortunate thing in this society, especially a very beautiful woman, very beautiful woman, very nice body and all that. You wouldn't think, oh, wait a minute, this woman is like dropping serious science on me, like making you actually think. That's one reason I love talking with her sometimes. You put out something and she'll just give you your perspective, and she does it without trying to force that perspective. She'll just say, well, that's what I think, right? And you're like, dang. Because even what she had said, something, I said, I should do that. I should do that for my Sunday podcast. But then she said, well, think about it like this. She used some examples. I was like, oh, man, you know what? Now I can't. Now you done messed me up. I can't use it now, right? But the bottom line is dig deeper. I mean, this is something I've had personally in my life. I've had people look at me a certain way and think I would be a certain way. But then when I would start, like, I had two instances, right? I had one young lady who thought I was very physically attractive. And I was like, first I was happy. I was like, man, somebody on this plane think I'm fine, right? But then, we started talking. We were on a date. And we started talking. And she was like, man, you got a brain too. Some people might have got offended by that, but I took it for what it was. Because the package didn't match, in her eyes, the package didn't match what was coming out my mouth. All right. Because anybody know me, they know I can get real philosophical. I can get real deep. I really haven't seen anything, right? So that was one, but then it was someone else, and it's interesting what he said about me. He said I look like I'd rob him until I open my mouth. And I've had men say that, like random men, right? They say, man, you look like you about to beat the shit out of somebody. Because one thing about me, if I'm just walking down the street or something, I usually have a mean look on my face. And that's not even anything big, because that might be a genetic thing, certain facial expressions and stuff. Because my youngest son, is probably one of the happiest kids I've ever met in life, right? That dude's always laughing, smiling, everything, right? But then when he thinking about something, there's certain facial expressions he get, and you be like, ugh, he look like he about to take somebody out. But it's just, with him, it's literally just a facial expression. Though he do have a temper sometimes, but that's another conversation, right? But go beyond it. Dig belief. See, a lot of people don't dig. They don't find out what's up. I mean, I got another story like that. I remember this one dude I met, and the first impression was this dude lived in a cardboard box, all right? And I don't want to give too much of the circumstances why, but somebody else, it was a meeting of some fellas, and one of them brought this dude with him. And, your first impression was, why are you bringing this dude? But then once this dude opened his mouth, the wisdom just flowed out. The wisdom flowed out of this dude. I mean, and you're just like, wow. And then there was some other stuff with it. You was like, wow, this dude is deep. He got a lot of stuff. He got intellectually, shoot, able to charm some ladies. I was just like, wow. So you know what? And this is just in life. And we're still going to be the type of people who, you're going to make a snap, because you don't always have time to dig deep. Sometimes you have to make a split decision, but when you can, go beyond the surface. Go beyond the outer package. Dig deep. Because I'm going to tell you what, often you can find a treasure. You can find a treasure, something like that. And I'm going to tell you how deep that is. That can even be a money thing. Because now I mentioned talking with the one very beautiful friend, and then, I mentioned there was another one, and they've been in the public eye. One still kind of there, all right? But, the beauty of it is, I was thinking about it. I said, wait a minute. Both of these women have put money in my pockets. Just listening to, some of the stuff they were saying, give me ideas and all of that, right? I was like, man, they weren't just pretty faces. But you could say they were like advisors, giving me perspective on stuff, right? Now, if I had just looked at these women and just say, oh, they just fine, they just beautiful women, fine body, I'm just trying to holler at them, I would have missed out on a whole lot. If I wasn't open to it. See, that's another thing. A lot of times, just by focusing just on that outer package, you can miss a potential blessing. You don't know what that person is. You don't know what they bring into the table, right? You never know. In fact, I got quite a few female friends like that, right? You thinking one thing, you looking at the outer package, but then they hitting you on some deep stuff, right? And that's an important thing. And, for men to do that, women to do that, right? A lot of women, they'll meet a guy and think one thing, and then, get to know him and find out, oh, wow, this is like Mr. Right here, So, business-wise, relationship-wise, all of that. Go beyond that outer package. Dig a bit. It's not always a perfect situation to do it. And sometimes you just can't because of the circumstances. But when you can, find out what's going on. Find out, that package is pretty. Find out. It's like that cliche saying, don't judge a book by its cover, right? Find out, So anyway, that's all we got for now. Keep rising and transforming. Peace.
Bye.